Are you a difficult person to get along with? Discover the subtle signs you might not even realize? We all want to be liked and to form positive relationships, but sometimes our behaviors or habits can unintentionally push people away. It's not always easy to self-reflect, especially when we're so used to seeing things from our own perspective. But recognizing certain traits in ourselves is the first step toward making changes that can lead to more harmonious relationships with others. In this article, we'll explore the subtle signs that you may be unknowingly difficult to get along with and offer actionable insights on how to improve your interactions. By diving deep into each sign and its potential impact, you'll be able to identify whether these behaviors apply to you and learn how to shift your mindset for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. 1. You always need to be right. The high cost of always winning. It's human nature to want to feel validated and correct, especially in arguments. But if you constantly find yourself defending your position even when it's unnecessary, or continuing to argue even after a point has been made, it could be an indicator that you're becoming difficult to get along with. This constant need to prove you're right may come across as controlling or dismissive of others' perspectives. The impact. People who constantly need to be right can make others feel unheard, invalidated, and exhausted. Relationships thrive when there's an exchange of ideas, a give and take, and mutual respect. If one person always dominates the conversation or insists on being right, it can create an imbalance that leaves others feeling frustrated and less inclined to engage. The insight, realizing that you don't have to win every argument or conversation, is liberating. Instead of trying to convince others that you're right, try shifting the focus toward understanding their perspective. When you listen actively and ask insightful questions, it shows that you value their opinion, which in turn fosters greater mutual respect. How to improve? Practice saying, "I see your point," or "I never thought of it that way." Acknowledging that others may have equally valid viewpoints shows maturity and emotional intelligence. You don't always have to be right. In fact, sometimes letting go of the need to be right creates space for deeper connection and trust. 2. You have a short fuse, reacting first, thinking later. Anger is a powerful emotion, and when it's triggered, it's easy to act impulsively. If you tend to blow up or react harshly to minor frustrations, it can make others wary of engaging with you. People around you may feel that they have to constantly tiptoe around your emotions, unsure when your temper might flare up. The impact: a short temper can breed an environment of stress, fear, and unpredictability. People tend to avoid those who regularly exhibit outbursts of anger because they feel like they're walking on eggshells. This can significantly affect your personal and professional relationships, as others may feel hesitant to open up or collaborate with you. The insight: recognizing your emotional triggers is a crucial first step in preventing anger from taking over. Many times, our reactions are less about the situation at hand and more about something deeper, such as feeling disrespected or unheard. Identifying these triggers can give you greater control over how you respond. How to improve? When you feel anger rising, practice mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing or counting to 10 before reacting. Take a step back and assess whether your reaction is proportional to the situation. If it's not, give yourself permission to respond with more calm and clarity. Learning to pause before reacting will help you navigate conflicts more effectively. 3. You're often overly critical. How constant criticism hurts relationships. Constructive criticism is valuable, but when it crosses into constant negativity or fault-finding, it can strain relationships. If you find yourself regularly pointing out the flaws or shortcomings in others, even when it's not warranted, people may begin to feel attacked or unloved. Constant criticism can make others feel like they can never do anything right in your eyes. The impact: while it's important to offer feedback in both personal and professional settings, excessive criticism can erode self-esteem and create a tense atmosphere. If you're constantly pointing out what's wrong, it can overshadow the things that are going right, making people feel underappreciated. The insight: the key to giving effective feedback is balance. It's important to acknowledge what's going well before addressing areas that need improvement. People are much more receptive to feedback when they feel valued, respected, and encouraged. Praise is just as important as criticism in fostering growth and maintaining positive relationships. How to improve? Start by practicing the compliment sandwich. Begin by highlighting something positive, followed by your constructive feedback, and end with another compliment. This will help make your criticism feel more like a helpful suggestion than an attack. Additionally, consider whether offering advice is necessary in every situation or if sometimes just listening and being present might be more valuable. 4. You don't take responsibility for your actions. The blame game. When things go wrong, are you quick to point fingers? A person who constantly shifts blame onto others without taking accountability for their own actions can come across as evasive or dishonest. While it's natural to protect your image or avoid discomfort, consistently failing to own up to mistakes can damage trust and hinder personal growth. The impact: avoiding responsibility creates a culture of dishonesty and undermines your credibility. It can also lead to unresolved conflicts, as others may feel like you're not being genuine or transparent with them. This can alienate friends, family, colleagues, and peers. The insight: everyone makes mistakes. The difference between those who grow and those who stagnate is how they respond to those mistakes. Owning your actions shows integrity and builds trust. It also demonstrates that you're willing to learn from your missteps and improve. How to improve? When something goes wrong, instead of deflecting blame, take a moment to reflect on your role in the situation. If you made a mistake, acknowledge it and take steps to correct it. By modeling this behavior, you create an environment where others feel safe to do the same, leading to more authentic and constructive interactions. 5. You have a lack of empathy, the silent killer of relationships. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. If you struggle with empathizing, whether by dismissing emotions or failing to see things from others' perspectives, it can create a sense of emotional distance. A lack of empathy can make others feel as if their emotions don't matter, or that they're not being heard or understood. The impact: without empathy, it's difficult to form deep, meaningful connections. People may feel invalidated or neglected in your presence, and over time, this can erode trust and intimacy. Relationships require mutual understanding and support, and a lack of empathy can prevent those essential bonds from forming. The insight: empathy doesn't mean you always have to agree with others' feelings or perspectives. Instead, it's about acknowledging their emotions and showing that you care about their experience. People are often seeking validation and comfort, not necessarily solutions. How to improve? Practice active listening by focusing on what the other person is saying rather than preparing your response. Validate their feelings by saying things like, "That sounds really tough," or "I can see why you'd feel that way." Showing empathy doesn't require fixing anything. It's about being present and making the other person feel heard and understood. 6. You're stubborn and set in your ways. The danger of rigidity. Being steadfast in your beliefs is one thing, but when you become so rigid that you're unwilling to adapt or reconsider your viewpoint, it can cause friction in your relationships. If you always insist that your way is the only way, it can create feelings of frustration or resentment in others. The impact: stubbornness can hinder growth and collaboration. If you're unwilling to adapt or change your mind, it can make others feel like their input doesn't matter. This can stifle creativity, innovation, and compromise, which are essential elements in successful relationships, both personally and professionally. The insight: flexibility is a sign of emotional intelligence and maturity. It doesn't mean abandoning your principles, but rather being open to new ideas and perspectives. Change is an inevitable part of life, and those who thrive are the ones who can embrace it with a positive attitude. How to improve? Practice being open-minded. When someone challenges your ideas, instead of reacting defensively, take a moment to consider their perspective. Ask questions and remain curious. The ability to bend without breaking is crucial in building meaningful and adaptable relationships. 7. You tend to withdraw or shut people out. The silent treatment. When faced with conflict or discomfort, do you shut down or pull away from the people involved? While it may seem easier to retreat or avoid difficult conversations, withdrawing can create distance and make it difficult for others to engage with you. The impact: withdrawal can be perceived as rejection, and over time, it can create emotional distance between you and others. If you always pull away when things get tough, people might start to feel like they can't rely on you, or that you don't value the relationship enough to work through challenges. The insight: conflict is an inevitable part of any relationship, but how you handle it is what truly matters. Engaging in difficult conversations, rather than avoiding them, helps resolve issues before they fester. Constructive conflict resolution fosters stronger, more resilient relationships. How to improve? When you feel the urge to withdraw, make a conscious effort to stay engaged. Express how you feel without shutting the other person out. Saying something like, "I need some time to think, but I don't want to shut you out," shows that you value the relationship while also respecting your need for space. 8. You don't appreciate the efforts of others. The unseen impact of unspoken gratitude. Gratitude is a simple but powerful way to show appreciation, yet many people overlook it in their everyday relationships. If you rarely express thanks or acknowledge the efforts of those around you, others may feel that their contributions are going unnoticed or undervalued. The impact. A lack of appreciation can lead to feelings of resentment and disengagement. People want to feel that their time and effort are valued, and without this recognition, they may begin to withdraw or stop trying as hard. Relationships thrive on mutual respect and acknowledgement. The insight. Expressing gratitude doesn't always have to be a grand gesture. A simple thank you, or I appreciate what you did, can go a long way in strengthening relationships. Small acts of kindness and acknowledgement build a foundation of trust and warmth. How to improve? Make a habit of expressing appreciation, even for the little things. Whether it's thanking someone for their time, recognizing their hard work, or simply telling them you care, consistent acts of gratitude will foster goodwill and deepen your connections with others. Conclusion: the power of self-awareness and growth. Becoming aware of these signs is the first step toward improving your relationships and personal growth. We all have room to evolve, and by reflecting on our behaviors and taking responsibility for our actions, we can create stronger, more fulfilling connections with the people around us. Remember, no one is perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. What matters most is your willingness to learn and grow from them. With patience, empathy, and a commitment to positive change, you can improve not only your relationships, but also your overall well-being. Let this be the first step toward creating the kind of relationships you truly desire.